Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Kelvin P. Ringo here, Prince of Positive and Oracle of Optimism, coming to you from lively Liverpool, New York, where the sun is shining, the grass is green, and the leaves that remain are a magnificent red and yellow and orange and many beautiful colors. And I have a very important question for you today. And that question is, what would you do if you knew you could not fail? Welcome to the Intensely Positive Podcast with your host, Kelvin P. Ringo. Preset your mindset to make every day count and make positivity your way of life. Are you ready?
Let's just do this.
Are you with me? Did you come back after the music? What would you do really if you knew you couldn't fail? See, you guys, I know that's a tough question, you see, because everybody tends to think from the standpoint of, well, there's no need of me thinking about that because I can't do that. And the fact of the matter is that's not necessarily true. But if you changed your entire mindset and the question you started asking yourself, you see, because the mind answers questions that you propose to it. And if you ask the mind, what are the reasons that I can't make this work? Your mind will give you a monumental list of reasons why whatever it is won't work. I mean, you can ask yourself, why won't I be able to make it across the floor today when I stand up to walk? And it will give you reasons. And if you concentrate on it hard enough, some of those reasons will pop up and trip you on your way across. But if you come back the other direction and you say, what are the reasons that I can make this work? What is it that I could do if I couldn't fail? Because the fact of the matter is, I don't believe there's ever anything that has happened on this planet that wasn't preceded by somebody failing. There's a great old saying that says that necessity is the mother of invention. I mean, we don't even try to come up with anything until we need something that we don't have. And the reason we don't have it is because we didn't think of it before. That's a failure, isn't it? How many buildings do you think have ever gone up that didn't have some type of failure involved, some type of do-over? Oh, that line's not right. We've got to dig that a little deeper. They were doing my driveway a couple of months ago, and they know what they're doing. They've been doing this for years, and they come up and down my driveway, and they dig out all this stuff, and they look at it again and say, no, we got to dig a little deeper. So was that first time a failure, or was that just part of the process? Was that a do, evaluate, redo, or was that, oh man, we really screwed it up. We got to dig deeper. What do you think? Was that a failure? No. How many times do you think you failed as a baby when you were trying to learn to walk? Was that a failure? Or was that a part of the process? How many Olympic athletes do you think were just that magnificent right out of the box? Well, I think I'm going to do the relay race. Let's just run. Run one time. Oh, I didn't make it. I failed. Was that a failure? Or was that part of the process? Thomas Edison is credited with creating the light bulb. He was trying to find a material that would withstand the electricity and not burn up to make the filament of the light bulb. He tried 10,000 times before he got a material that would work. And somebody said to Edison, you failed 10,000 times. How does that feel? And he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 materials that wouldn't work. Was that failure, or was that just part of the process? Now, I know a lot of people listen to this tape, so this is what I want you to do. Right now, I want you to raise your hand if you have ever flown in an airplane. Raise your hand right now. I know y'all thought I'm crazy. I can't see you raise your hand, but that's not the point, all right? Do you know that the first successful flight by the Wright brothers, the first flight they considered to be a success, was only 3.5 seconds? 3.5 seconds. And you're flying all over the world now. We're flying for days. We're flying for hours and hours. We're flying to the moon. It's crazy where we're flying. But this is what they said. The flyer was airborne for only 3.5 seconds, but the power of the engine and the responsiveness of the controls bolstered Wilbur's confidence. He wrote home, "There is now no question of final success." What was that? Okay. He had evidence that what he was trying to do made sense. And that evidence, because the principles worked, if even for 3.5 seconds, he knew he was on to something. What have you ever done that worked for 3.5 seconds, or 3.5 days, or 3.5 hours, or 3.5 months even before it poo-pooed or whatever, and you said, "Oh, it won't work. I've been doing this for 3.5 months, and it's been doing all this for 3.5 months, but it won't work." Have you ever said that? And this is what launched the things that you fly in today. I'm gonna still read this from Smithsonian Institute. So they repaired that flyer, that wing. So this is what they said. With the damage repaired, the flyer was again ready for the flight. On December 17th, the Wrights arose the morning to freezing temperatures and a 27-mile-an-hour wind. At 10:35 a.m., the flyer lifted off the launching rail with Orville at the controls. The overly sensitive elevator control caused the flyer to dart up and down as it sailed slowly over the sand, coming to rest with a thud 120 feet from where it had taken off. The flight was short, only 12 seconds, but it was a true flight nonetheless. A human had flown. 12 seconds indicated success to them because, number one, they knew what they were looking for, and they knew what the signs were that it was working. And that's some of the secret of what you need to do when you're trying to do anything, when you're trying to be successful. You need to understand one thing first. Number one, failure is part of the process. And if it's part of the process and you learn something from it, is it failure or is it a lesson? Did you mess up or did you get some feedback? Were you on the wrong course or did you just need a little course correction? And that's the thing about failure. So you can imagine I have examples and examples and examples of things that I could give you, tell you, show you from the lives of many, many successful people from my own life. I could probably come help you pick out some out of your life that shows that you have been way more successful than you give yourself credit for. And all you needed to do was keep moving. Listen to the lessons that you learned, adjust your course, and keep moving. But I've kind of made a deal that I wasn't going to make these podcasts over so long, so you didn't get bored and just like throw me away. Besides, if I make them short, you can just listen to them over and over and over and over. And you'll feel so much better, so much quicker, because I get to the good part at the end. If I do that in under 20 minutes, hey, you can feel good every 20 minutes for like the rest of your life. Feel better when you do something with it. But you can feel good in the short term thinking about it. So I've got a couple of questions for you, and you can answer these in the privacy of your own home, your own car. You don't have to raise your hand, even though I can or cannot. You don't know if I can see you or not. You don't know. I may be clairvoyant. Don't you know what I'm saying? I could be seeing you go, "Oh, yes. Yeah, Bob, get it. Oh, raise that hand higher." Now, which one of you Bobs is wondering what I'm looking at in your car? Ha, 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 ha. So when you start thinking about the stuff you want to do, when you start thinking about your success, who are you comparing yourself to? You know, each of us has different talents and skills and strengths. Einstein says, at least this was attributed to Einstein, that everyone is a genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. Are you comparing yourself to a fish trying to climb a tree? Who are you listening to about whether or not you can be successful? Are you listening to people who are accustomed to succeeding, Or are you listening? I can talk today. Honest to goodness. Are you listening to someone else who is in the same spot you are, who has never done anything, never decided to put themselves on the line and try it, and they want to keep you there so they can have company? Who are you listening to? But I want you to understand this, and I had to understand this myself. Because if you're one of those people that doesn't think you can do something, I've been in those shoes myself. And sometimes I have accidentally stumbled on success just because I was willing to make a move. But there are steps to success. Whether it's a road trip across the country or it's building a dollhouse, whether it's becoming a world-class athlete or building a skyscraper, whether it's feeding the hungry people in your community or becoming a successful business person, there are steps, and to the extent that you take the necessary steps, you'll determine whether or not you become the success you seek. Number one, figure out what you want. This takes time. This is not a deal where you go in the kitchen, take a Coke out the fridge, spin around the floor 3 times and go, bam, this is what I want to do. This takes time. What is important to you? What is important to you? What is it that you can do that truly makes your heart sing, or you think will make your heart sing? What is the impact you want to have on the world, or your community, or your family, or your household, or your friends? What is the impact you want to have? How do you want to help them? Figure that stuff out. Step 2, figure out why. What are you going to do with it? And why? Is it totally selfish? Or are you contributing to humanity in some way? Who are you helping with this besides you? The great Zig Ziglar always said, you can have anything in life that you want if you help enough other people get what they want. So why do you want it? How will it make you feel? Who are you helping? Understand this. Money will not make you happy. It's what you can do with money for the good of yourself and others that will make you happy. But your why is what will keep you focused when things aren't happening perfectly, when things aren't going just right. Why you're doing it is what will propel you to keep going forward. Step number 3, figure out what's the first step to get started. A lot of us never get started because we can't figure out what the first step is. And the first step is always the hardest. And really, the first step in any journey is to plan the route. I was in the military for 20 years and 18 days. And sometimes we had to go places. March 8th, 1988, me and baby boy, and I know that me and baby boy isn't really proper grammar, but, so what? Anyway, we started across the country from Rome, New York to San Bernardino, California. And you know what I had in the car? I had a map. A map came in very handy because turns out there were a whole lot of paths I could have taken to get to San Bernardino. And if the one I wanted was blocked, that map would help me figure out an alternative path. But unless I knew where I wanted to go in the first place, even that map couldn't help me. But once I knew where I wanted to go, the map helped me identify possible detours. And friends, there will be detours. I don't care what you're going to do. There will be detours because particularly when you get started, I believe that life's job is once you get started doing something and you're doing real well, it's life's job to figure out, wonder if he really wants this. And I believe there will be detours because life's going to ask you, like it asked me on several occasions, Kelvin, are you serious about this? Is this something you really want? Let's do a reality check. Bam. And sometimes life makes you think. But the answer needs to be, yeah, this is it. This is the deal. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do. And you can throw these little curves at me if you want to, Bubba Life. I'm going to keep moving as long as I can move. Once you get that, you're in good shape. Now, today we have GPSs for road travel, and you'll say, well, there's no GPS in life, but that's not really true, because once you are absolutely committed to what you want to do and you're on the path to where you want to go, you will be shocked at the guidance and the opportunities that come your way that before you were committed would not have been activated. So plot your path. Be prepared for possible detours. Bad weather, flat tires, closed roads, car sickness, whatever the heck it is, whatever. Understand this. You don't have to plan on bad things, but sometimes you need to plan for bad things. And once you plan for bad things, you're prepared. You can put them out of your mind because you already know you're ready for them. And that's the deal with planning. Step 4, start. One step at a time. Martin Luther King says you don't need to see the whole staircase. Just get to the first step, and then you can see the next step from there. You may discover alternate routes that are better for you. You may meet people who can help you. You may discover resources you didn't know existed, because let's face it, if you're not committed to doing anything in particular or going anyway, why does life need to show you all the paths? And a GPS is of no use in a parked car. And a side comment, dear Gary, hush. Gary will understand what I'm saying. Lastly, my friends, you need to surround yourself with positive people. People who are accustomed to winning and people who want you to succeed. Do not, I don't believe you heard me, do not share your life's passion with negative people who have no vision. There are many, many people out there who are doing nothing, who will discourage you from doing anything so they don't have to look at themselves. Let me repeat that. There are many people out there who are doing nothing who will discourage you from doing anything so that they do not have to look at themselves. Save those people for later, when they can look at you as an example of how to make it happen, and they won't be talking trash to you. Lastly, don't quit. Don't quit. Or as Winston Churchill says, never give up. You see, you never really lose until you stop trying. And there's more than one route to get to San Bernardino. Change your definition of failure. Just because it didn't happen perfectly the first time doesn't mean you failed. You just got feedback on your process. Take the feedback, correct your course, and keep on moving. And you will get there. You got this. You got this, my friend. And we'll see you next time.
Wow, that was awesome.